The north, south and east-west MRT lines are to be electrically disconnected from each other to avoid a repeat of the massive simultaneous disruption we saw back in July. Now, you see, both the north-south and the east-west lines currently share a common power supply, but transport authorities will now install what's known as electrical breaks at Jurong East and Raffles Place stations. Now, these allow operators to cut off power to one line without having to stop the other. Transport Minister Koh Boon Wan laid out these plans in a blog post today.
Many commuters won't forget these scenes from July. A power fault during the evening peak hour brought Singapore's two major train lines to a standstill. 250,000 people had to find another way home. Transport Minister Koh Boon Wan has outlined one solution to avoid another large-scale breakdown. That's by installing electrical breaks at Jurong East and Raffles Place stations. Here's why it works. Both lines now share a common power supply. This allows trains to move from one line to the other, making it easier for operators to maintain both lines. But this also means a power fault on one line could affect the other, as thousands of commuters found out in July. With the new electrical breaks, authorities can disconnect the two lines. For example, even if there's a power fault on the north-south line, power can still flow to trains on the east-west line. Mr. Koh says these breaks won't be activated unless there's a need to. And this gives operators more flexibility in maintaining both lines. Mr. Koh said maintenance was the main reason why both lines were closely linked in the first place. A decision was also made in the early 1980s to build only the Bishan depot for maintenance so as to minimize costs and land use. But with the new Tuas West extension next year, there will be a depot on the east-west line with similar facilities. Mr. Koh said this limitation would then disappear. But one analyst says disconnecting the lines must ensure the safety of the network.
If the lines are decoupled, that means they are separated from one another, then they will have to, the power flow cannot flow from one line to the other. We must ensure that the single source that comes from this particular line after the decoupling is sufficient to provide the power for the trains without other issues.
Ultimately, for Mr. Koh, this is active work in progress. And with his recent efforts to overhaul the system and rebuild public confidence, Mr. Koh seems to be on the right track to fix the problem.